Hello and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I am your host today, the Cottonwood Public Library Director, Ryan Bigelow. And today I have two very special guests with me, all the way from Prescott and over the mountain there. I've got Valerie Burns, the Library Network Manager for the Yavapai Library Network. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And I've got Chanel Wheeler, the Systems Librarian for the Yavapai Library Network. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And why are we here today? Well, we're here today to talk something that's network-wide. You are with the Yavapai Library Network. We have a major upgrade that I like to say. It's an upgrade. And we have a new OPAC, or Online Public Access Catalog. And for everybody out there, it is just the catalog that you use to find out what types of books and materials we have, put them on hold, and come pick them up at your library. So there's a lot that went into this process. It's been a long time coming, I feel like. But Valerie, can you tell us a little bit about the change and why did we go with this new product from Aspen?
Sure. So the Yavapai Library Network currently has 57 libraries.
Wow.
We have academic K-12 schools, public libraries, and who am I missing?
Museums.
Museums. Thank you. So Charlotte Hall and Verde Valley Archaeology also have it. Anyways, what we did was we took representatives from each of these types of libraries. We made a little committee that reviewed the catalogs that were out there. I have an IT background, and when I came to work for the library, I personally was dissatisfied with the catalog that we had. I would go to book club and they'd say, okay, next month we're going to read this book, and I'd go look for it in our catalog, and I really didn't care if it was large print or regular print or the playaways, listening to it, or an audiobook or an ebook. I just needed to read it by next month. So I would go in there and search our catalog, and it was very difficult to find all the different formats that were available. So that kind of spurred it. I started contacting different companies, and then we got this committee together last April, and we started evaluating all the companies.
Right. And Chanel, since you're the systems librarian, you get a lot of the help desk tickets, and you've been doing a lot of the back end for all of these systems. Is this an upgrade for you too? Is this how you see it?
Oh yes. As I looked at other catalogs that were available, it was just, they were so much more impressive. I felt like they offered a better user experience than what our current catalog does.
I think, and what I'm telling our staff too is, we're really hammering in customer service and being customer friendly. This is a giant part of that, right? To be able to have something where that you don't have to have people scrolling from top to bottom, a variety of things. That the customer service aspect is huge. So I know I've been here 3 years. And I think this discussion's been going on at least that long. How long have we been looking at this? Or do you know how long we've been looking at this?
Well, I was here 2 years in July, end of July. Okay. And I first went to what they call Consortia SIG, where all of the libraries that are using Circe Dynex, which is our engine, where we keep all of our data. And everybody seemed to be dissatisfied with the catalog, all the customers, and we would have these lists of things we wanted to see. Oh, okay. So yes, I think it did start, at that time, and Chanel's got plenty of history, more than I do, about that.
Yeah, I've been here for 10 years, and historically, I think we've looked at the library services that we support. We looked at it as one big unit, and we would just buy the whole thing from one company. So it was whatever that company offered. And I think now we're moving more in a direction of looking at who is the best in breed for different components, and perhaps purchasing from different companies for different services.
Right. So we've changed our philosophy a little bit about how we might go about doing that kind of thing.
Right.
That's nice. It gives us a little bit more flexibility, services the end user a little bit better, so on and so forth. So there was a committee formed. Can you tell me about the committee? How did that process look like? How many different companies did you review? Was it a short period, a long period?
So we assembled in April of 2020. And like I said, there's representatives from each type, because the academics are interested in different features than maybe the public libraries are. So then we all put a features list together first.
Okay.
So these are the features we must have.
Okay.
These are the features that we would like to have. So, and we rated them. We ranked, either heavy requirement, which was a must-have, or not a heavy. And we did it by computer, which is the first time we've done this. So we were all able to review the criteria and vote on it when we got the vendors' responses. We ended up with only 2 vendors in the final. We had 3 initial and 1 dropped off.
Okay.
So the 2 vendors we had, do I say their names on?
That's okay.
So, and then we all got the responses from the vendors, and we reviewed things such as features, price, and of course the ones that we heavily weighted. It was a unanimous decision, and the decision is all documented because it was all computerized, so it was a very subjective, I guess.
Okay, very good. And so when we're doing this on the purchasing end of things, because we're a network, are we jumping into this with a lot more purchasing power than, say, if it was just the Cottonwood Public Library who wanted to make this change? It might be a little bit more difficult for us. That's how I understand it.
So yes, because we're representing all the 57 libraries, and the vendors were wanting to have us as a customer, so yes.
Definitely. I think when we're pitched on our end, we're pitched for a lot of different products. A lot of times I say, hey, this would probably be a better discussion at the network level, because we're going to look to do this collectively, all of us, and I try to send them to you and say, hey, if you can get Valerie on board with whatever the product might be, then let's talk about it as a network wide, because it could be something that the Cottonwood Public Library might be interested in, but financially it just doesn't make sense for us to try to accommodate something like that. But at the network level, then maybe it does. So we've talked about how did we get this new product, this new online catalog. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the catalog itself, some of the benefits. When I talked about customer service, what are the features that we really like, and what is the feedback that we've been receiving so far. So we'll do a quick break, and we'll be right back here on Inside Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
Need a ride to work in Sedona? Hop on the new Verdi shuttle at the Cottonwood Library and ride to all the major employers in Sedona for just $2. It's just that easy. Looking to get back to work? Sedona has jobs, and the Verdi shuttle gets you there every 45 minutes. It's just that easy. Working late? The Verdi shuttle runs until 10:30 and offers a free after-hours shuttle in Cottonwood. It's just that easy. Check out verdishuttle.com for details, or ask Google Maps for transit directions. It's just that easy.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I am Ryan Bigelow, the Library Director for the Cottonwood Public Library. And again, we've got Valerie Burns, the Library Network Manager, with us today, and also Chanel Wheeler, the Systems Librarian, both from the Yavapai Library Network. We are talking about our new online catalog. We're talking about the functionality of it. We're talking about how much easier it is on both staff and our patrons. So Chanel, it came down, we got Aspen. We're really happy with Aspen. Why though? What makes Aspen a better product, an upgrade from what we had?
So there's several features. One is what's called grouped works, which means that when you do a search, it's going to bring, for a title, it's going to bring back the book, the ebook, the audio book, the playaway, the book club kit, and other book or audio bookish formats together in a single hit in the search results. In the old catalog, there would be an individual entry for every one of those, so you would have to go hunting for the one you wanted. So that's one of the big features. Another one is that the search results are improved. So for example, it takes into account how many recent checkouts there have been of items, and so things that are checked out a lot are raised higher in the search results. And it also looks at the number of copies. So if as a network we buy 50 copies of something, it must be pretty popular and people are looking for it. A third feature is that it pulls what overdrive materials. So these are the very commonly used ebooks and e-audiobooks that patrons use in our catalog. Instead of going out to the overdrive website to check out those items or place holds, it now happens all within the catalog. You don't leave it. And finally, I would mention that it also brings in the events from our Yavapai event services calendar. So for example, if you search for books on yoga, you'll get a special feature on the page that points out that there are upcoming yoga events in the network.
That is, I love that that feature there, because we're constantly talking about being a community center, being a place for people to go. We have more than we're books, but we're also events and getting people in the door. So to have that connection, I don't know if there was other catalogs that were doing that. I think that's pretty innovative. I think that really helps service our public, whether they like, it doesn't have to be yoga, it could be any topic. Our library is going to have all kinds of guest speakers and different types of events from in and out of our community to help incorporate that. That feature is fantastic. Can I ask about I'm a big e-materials user. I'm on Libby. That's how I use my library is Libby constantly. So when I look at this on the catalog, it'll show me from Libby, or am I taken to a different website, or am I still here on the Aspen site?
So there's two aspects to this. One is things that titles that you have checked out via Overdrive or Libby, that belong to libraries in the network. Those will all show up in the catalog under your account. You'll be able to see what you have checked out and what you have holds on. What won't display is if you go into Libby and use the special feature that allows you to check out titles from other libraries in Arizona, those will not show up in the catalog because they're not part of our catalog. They're somebody else's catalog.
Okay, I see. So, but that's most of the information I'm going to need just from this Aspen site. So, and I apologize to our guests here because I'm talking about Libby. Maybe not everybody knows what Libby is. Can we get a quick 101 on what Libby actually is?
Sure. The Yavapai Library Network has an agreement with a company called Overdrive.
Okay.
Overdrive has a few applications that they use to check their books out and be able to read their books, and they're called Overdrive and Libby. Libby is the newer, more user-friendly, although some people still like the Overdrive app, although I understand it's going away soon, so we're promoting Libby much more. But you can basically go on to Libby. I use it on my phone, so I go to the Play Store and download the Libby app, and you put in your library card number, your library PIN, and you're able to actually check out ebooks. You can even check out a Kindle format. So I was really surprised when I first learned about this probably 5 years ago or so, that I could actually get Kindle books through my library.
And I tell everybody all the time, I don't read books anymore. I listen to my books now. I'm listening constantly. I've gone through so many materials just with my headphones and my cell phone, and now I can't even tell you how many books I've read or listened to now. It's been a life changer for me. So Janelle, you touched on this briefly too, but I think that it could use some further explanation about how we partner with other libraries throughout the state to access materials from Libby. How does that work?
So if you have an Overdrive collection, And you are free to share it with other libraries in Arizona. What happens is that if there are no checkouts on a title at, say, Pima County, for example. So if there's a book and it's not checked out, I, here in Yavapai County, can check it out. I can't place holds on their materials. Of course, you can place holds on the Yavapai County materials, but not on other counties' materials. It's only if it's available at that moment, which means that it's almost like gambling. So you go in, you see, is there a copy of this popular title just happens to be available at another library district in the state.
And another feature that I love from Libby that allows you to, oh, darn it, I'm on hold here, but it automatically shows me the rest of my libraries that I have in Libby, and I get to see if that title's available from a different library. As a library director, I always like to go in and see what we have and the other libraries don't. And I'm always pleasantly surprised to see how our collection looks compared to some of those other fairly large library systems that oftentimes we are one of the few that have a specific title. And it's nice to know that we're on top of that. Because it's important to as a patron, if you see a title that just came out, and you go to look for it, and oh shoot, this library doesn't have it at all. Well, then we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot, right? We want to be that additional resource for people. So,
can I just add to that the 57 libraries have access to the same Overdrive collection. And the past couple years, because of the pandemic, the network has pumped a lot of money. The steering committee has released $100,000 for e-material. So our library is growing. People have, the usage has gone up. And we did get agreement so the K-12s can use it through an app in their school called Sora, and that is growing as well. So if you haven't checked out ebooks or the e-audiobooks, it'd be a great time to do it because there are quite a few titles there.
Right, and we just recently made that decision as a network, right, to pump more titles in, just because I think the pandemic pushed a lot of folks into that, and they found that this is a very viable way to get my books, and it's become very popular. I know ours continues to grow at the Cottonwood Public Library, the usage for online materials, and I don't see that going away anytime soon. I think once people figure out that there will always be folks who want the book, and I don't blame them at all. That is part of really who we are, but there's an alternative too, and sometimes you can get it. It's another way to get your materials quicker. It's another way you don't have to physically be at the library. So we're always promoting that. Thank you for adding that as well. Can we talk just briefly a little bit about the open source and Bywater? Chanel, is that more you there?
Yes. So our current catalog is from a company that's it's there to make money. It's a typical corporation. And the difference with our new catalog is it's from a company called Bywater, which only supports open source products. They are much more attuned to building what the customer wants rather than what they think that will open them up to new markets. And they're extremely good to work with because, again, if they don't hear from you what you need, they know they're going to lose customers. Whereas the really big companies, they're looking at long-term objectives of how can they reach out to this community that maybe they haven't gotten roped in yet. So that they're very responsive to our needs.
I feel like that's just a tremendous fit for libraries too. That's kind of who we are, right? We're an open source. We're just trying to give you a bunch of information. We're not trying to make a profit necessarily. We're just trying to put the information out there. So it makes sense for us to be working with a company that has similar values there. Okay, so next, we'll talk about what is next. There's some things that we haven't quite rolled out yet that we're looking forward to. So I'm Ryan Bigelow. And this is Inside Cottonwood, and we'll be right back and talking about what's next.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
Looking for a ride to Sedona? Hop on the new Verde shuttle at the Cottonwood Library and go everywhere you want to go in West Sedona, uptown, and south to Poco Diablo Resort. It's just that easy. Looking for a better way to commute between Cottonwood and Sedona? The Verde shuttle buses are brand new. A cool, clean, comfortable ride for only $2 each way or $3 for an all-day pass. It's just that easy. Check out details at verdeshuttle.com or ask Google Maps for transit directions. It's just that easy.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I am Ryan Bigelow, the Library Director at the Cottonwood Public Library. Today we've got the Yavapai Library Network's Valerie Burns, she's the Network Manager, and Chanel Wheeler, the Systems Librarian. And we are talking about Aspen, our new online catalog, making life easier, more efficient for you as the patron to use our libraries. We've gone over, some of the benefits of our new program, Aspen. We've gone over what the network is. What's next? What do we've got? What are we still going to roll out? Can you tell us, give the patrons a little bit of a sneak peek? What are we going to do next?
Well, the question we're getting a lot is there a phone app? I personally am a phone person, so when we looked at the software out there, I did want to look at a company that had a phone app. Aspen actually had one that wasn't quite released yet, and so it is coming. I have seen the beta version of it and have used it, so it's there. I can touch it, but we don't have it refined yet where we feel it's ready for the public. But I see that happening probably in the next, definitely by January. I don't think we mentioned that we are running both of our catalogs in parallel, so you can try the new one, see if you like it, but you actually don't have to cut over to it fully until January, and we're looking at that time frame for the app as well.
That's awesome. I'm an app person too, so I can still use the YLN app that's currently on my phone. That will be functional through January, and then we'll have hopefully something to roll out that is the Aspen version of it's going to be similar. Tell us about what functions will I have with this app, or will it be exactly what we have now?
Well, it's going to be very different because it's from a different company. One of the things that I know was troublesome with our current app was that it's from a different company that is being licensed by the company we use. And so it works entirely differently from our old catalog. The search results are completely different because it uses a different engine. With Aspen, it will be all about taking what you can do in the browser version and doing the exact same, modifying it so that it works in an app interface, but being able to do those same functions. And so a search on the browser will be the same as the search on your phone.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. And the app currently, sometimes I just go to the app versus using the current catalog because I think the app that we have is so much easier to use sometimes. This will have the same features and same functions. So,
well, certainly all the basic stuff of placing holds, renewing books, the typical functions you expect out of a library catalog will be there. It's just a matter of seeing what extra stuff they decide to add, because we're still in the early days.
Okay, and we have some input there on how we want it to be built and what the functions are. Okay, and they're responsive, so that's wonderful. This Aspen has some features that we don't currently have that sound, for me as a director, very exciting. Tell us about online card registration, payments.
So We have a little bit of it already. So a few of our libraries do online card registration with our current catalog. Aspen will be building that out for us to use, and maybe it will roll out to all of our libraries. It's each library's choice. Also, we are working on a way to pull the lists that patrons have in our current catalog automatically over into the new catalog. I know that's getting asked about a lot at the libraries. And eventually, online bill payment. We've never had that, so we're very excited to offer that feature. It's logistically tricky because there's 57 libraries of, some are governmental entities, some are independent, so we're gonna have to work out a few things, but that's what we're shooting for.
That sounds very promising. I'm very excited about that. We talked a little bit during the break. Course reserves for academics. You had to explain that to me. What exactly does that mean? Yeah,
so when you're in college, the teacher or professor may assign special readings. Back in my day, when I went to college, it was usually photocopied chapters or articles out of a magazine or a journal or a book. I don't know exactly what it is they give them today because it's been a while. But the thing is, they have to go into the library and go up to the counter and ask to be given these things for like an hour or 2 hours. They usually have very short circulation periods, and they change every semester. So a student comes to the catalog wanting to know, I'm taking this class with this professor. What are my readings for this semester that I'm going to have to go into the library and get? And a catalog doesn't typically respond to that. We do have it in our current catalog. It didn't exist in the Aspen catalog, but again, because they want us as a customer, they are building that feature.
That's great. That's really nice to hear that they're so receptive to the feedback. So I love to hear that. As librarians, we're also trying to be receptive to feedback. We've been getting feedback. What's the overall feedback that you've been receiving, and how can a patron who is using this for the first or second time give some feedback?
So we are getting feedback. Each library is getting feedback from their own patrons. I get the feedback from people who are actually using the main catalog from the Yavapai Library Network. And the majority of it is good. They're wonderful about that grouping, and also we're getting some constructive feedback, which says, hey, it doesn't have this, or I'd like to see this. We would love to hear what you have to say, and if you have any suggestions. That's why we're doing this 4-month period where you're able to try it before you actually switch over, because if there's something that maybe our old catalog did that this one's not doing for you, please let us know. Or if you love it, let us know.
Right.
And inside the catalog, in all the different, so we have many different profiles. Typically, the public libraries each have a separate profile, and on all of them, at the top, there is a banner that tells you where to go to give us feedback. Or you can just walk into your favorite public library and tell the person at the desk.
Yeah, we're never afraid to get feedback, right? So, and I love that feature, because now we know exactly what our patrons are thinking. We don't have to guess or survey or ask. We're getting 3 or 4 emails a day from our patrons giving us that feedback, and some of them we'll be able to forward to Chanel and say, hey Chanel, have you been getting this a lot? And some of them are just frankly love the change and keep up the good work. So we like to hear that too. So it's been really great. Anything else on Aspen that we didn't cover that you want to make sure we tell our folks?
beta.yln.info.
So what does that mean?
That is the URL for our new catalog.
Okay.
That will take you to our main catalog for the consortium. We have customized versions for each of the major public libraries, and typically, if you go to the library's website, you will find a link that will point you to the new catalog to test out. Also, if you go to the old catalog, there is a banner there which will send you to the new catalog.
Right. And at Cottonwood, ctwpl.info is our website. We're up and running with this. We didn't want to test it out for too long. I know it's an improvement. I know it's an upgrade. It's just going to take some getting used to, getting some people to figure out what it is they like, and then tell us what it is that you don't like so much, and we'll try to do our best to make those improvements. So I want to thank Valerie and Chanel. Thank you both for joining me today. This was fun. I'm glad you were able to make it over here. I know we'll do it again sometime because we'll have something else big and new and fun to promote. So thank you again for being here. I'm Ryan Bigelow from the Cottonwood Public Library, and you've been watching Inside Cottonwood.